There are few things more frustrating for fantasy football owners than a bust. Someone you draft early, you think's going to have a big season, and they completely disappoint. Well, RPFW fantasy expert Mike Wilkin is here to give you a warning. Here are some running backs you may want to avoid or maybe not draft them as high because they have that bust label on them. And the first one on this list recently got busted again off the field, a DUI charge, and that Seahawks running back Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, I like Marshawn Lynch a lot. I would take him in drafts. I'm just not going to take him probably as a first back or even as an early second back, and that's what it comes down to. And I think if you pin too many hopes on Marshawn Lynch this year, you might be disappointed. And again, this is a guy that I think has had some up and down seasons. I think there are other backs that maybe have a little bit more upside. To me, he's a guy that I try to take as a late second back, and he's just not going to be there, so that's why he's on this list.
There's not much behind Marshawn Lynch in Seattle except for rookie Robert Turbin, so you know he's going to get the rock. He got that contract extension, but the off-field concerns are also a worry for fantasy owners, especially if he has to get a suspension. Now we're going to head over to the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs could be the #1 rushing team in the NFL this season. I don't think that would surprise a lot of people with Jamal Charles and Peyton Hillis, but because of that combination, you think they're kind of a bust because they're going to cancel each other out?
I'm a little weary of just how this is going to work out from a backfield perspective. I think Jamal Charles coming off the ACL and with Hillis now there, what's his value going to be? We're just not going to know. You're sort of making a pick in the dark in terms of what his value is going to be. Peyton Hillis, to me, is a guy I watched in Cleveland last year, had every opportunity to take that job, run away with it, was hurt. It just was a disappointing season. So he's a guy that I'm having a hard time, even as a backup, putting a lot of stock into. To me, I'm going to let somebody else sort out this problem, but you're right, there is upside here. And again, it can always go the other way in terms of these projections, and certainly we know they're going to run the football in Kansas City.
And Hillis can do a couple things that Jamal Charles is not known for, punching the ball in near the goal line. Right. Well, Hillis has also been a pretty good receiver, especially in 2010 with the Browns, but they might be taking carries, yards, and touchdowns away from each other. Another running back duo is a reason for our third bust, and that's C.J. Spiller in Buffalo. He's kind of been a part of that Buffalo hype that we've talked about. Everyone very excited about the Bills, and we saw Spiller play well at the end of last season when Fred Jackson got hurt. But Fred Jackson's still there. He got a new contract, and you think people are going to overvalue Spiller?
Yeah, I just think the presence of Fred Jackson, I mean, he was wonderful last year when he was healthy. He's going to get the goal line carries. I think he's the guy in the base offense. To me, Spiller is a guy that has some upside, but where you may have to get him in draft because of that hype machine that you mentioned, I'm just not feeling it. But again, a guy with a lot of upside.
Yeah, we'll see a lot of these teams with the two backs in the backfield. You kind of have to watch the preseason games, watch the early games of the regular season, see how they divvy up those carries. Well, hopefully you won't have to worry about any busts on your fantasy team. But to check out all our fantasy rankings and analysis, head to our website, ProFootballWeekly.com.